The United States just seized an oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela. This was not like a paperwork transaction. This was an armed operation with the helicopters and the ropes and tactical teams boarding a foreign ship on international waters. Fox News aired the footage, and you can see American forces rappelling onto the deck as if this is really a military raid, not a legal process related to sanctions. Now, according to reporting from the New York Times, this is a tanker that was carrying Venezuelan oil and was previously involved in smuggling Iranian oil. And the idea here is there was a seizure warrant on the basis of this. It was issued 2 weeks ago. And the Trump administration went ahead and said, yes, we are going to do it. Now, there really isn't much in the way of a legal explanation here, right? We got like a sentence. Venezuela is saying that this is barefaced robbery, saying that this is international piracy being carried out by the United States. And you can't look at this and argue that this is normal. You know, a U.S. judge issuing a warrant simply doesn't give the United States the authority to seize a foreign vessel in international waters, which is what we're talking about here. Maritime law doesn't work that way. Sovereignty doesn't work that way. And these are all things and principles that the Trump administration says that they respect. And the White House has also not explained which part of international law do you believe you're operating under here when you go and do this. Now, there's also a question of what happens to the oil. We don't really know. There's been no official statement about what happens to the oil and what happens to the ship. They haven't clarified, was the warrant for the oil or for the vessel, or was it for both? Trump was asked, well, what happens now to the oil on the tanker that you seized? And Trump's kind of like, I guess we keep it? I don't know.
In the seizure of this tanker, what happens to the oil on this ship?
Well, we keep it, I guess.
Where does it go? What port does it go to?
When you have to follow the tanker, you know, you're a good newsman, just follow the tanker.
Do you know where
Follow
it's going?
follow it. Get a helicopter and follow the tanker.
Is it true it's going to
But
keep
we're
going?
gonna, I assume we're gonna keep the oil.
Wow. You know, that really doesn't sound to me like the winner of the FIFA Peace Prize that Donald Trump was given the other day. So we sort of have to go through and think about the underlying justification and philosophy here, much like we have been having to think about it with regard to the strikes against supposed narco trafficking boats, including the now infamous war crime double tap strike. You know, you can't say that this is self-defense, right? I mean, it's like the crew didn't resist. There was no threat to American vessels. There was certainly no imminent attack from this vessel. It wasn't a hostile encounter in the sense that the vessel was being aggressive towards American resources or anything like that. So once you establish that, and I can't imagine that anyone in the Trump administration would dispute that because that's clearly not what's going on here, self-defense in international law requires an actual immediate danger. It can't be a ship with a bad history and a foreign government that Donald Trump doesn't like. That doesn't justify action on the basis of self-defense. We also have to ask a broader question, which is this now part of an ongoing military operation? Some might even say, is this a war or a warlike project? Because if you go back just a couple of months to September, we've talked about it all along. The United States has carried out now reportedly more than 20 strikes on boats in the region, killing over 80 people. The double tap narco trafficking strike is one of them. And this is a different thing. Here we took the vessel and now I guess we're taking the oil. This in total, arguably you could say, I mean, listen, you've got over 20 strikes. Trump has moved over 15,000 U.S. troops and a dozen ships into the Caribbean, including the Gerald Ford aircraft carrier. He is authorizing covert action against Venezuela. He's telling reporters that other things are happening and he's being cagey and kind of playing coy. He's not saying what those things are. And his supporters have insisted Trump's the anti-war guy. But this is kind of looking like a war. And I know that people will write to me and they'll say, David, it's not a war by definition because war hasn't been declared. Come on, guys. What are we really going back to that at this point in time? We have a president escalating military activity in the region, using force force without any authorization for the use of military force, seizing a foreign ship, I guess taking its cargo. Trump's like, I guess we keep the oil. Also threw into this a sort of threat to the president of Colombia, saying the president of Colombia had better wise up or he's going to be next. So this is not the true anti-war candidate. This is not restraint. This is certainly not diplomacy. It's an American president threatening to target multiple other countries because he feels like it. And all of it is happening after Donald Trump got the very prestigious FIFA Peace Prize. Maybe Gianni Infantino is going to have to rethink whether Trump was the most suited recipient for the nascent and newly created prize. So obviously, I know you all know this, but this is the opposite of a peace posture. This is not a president who goes first to peace. It's a classic pre-war pattern of raids, seizures, covert activity, threats, and meanwhile, it's a growing military presence in the region. I don't want to say it's like when Putin was massing troops on the border with Ukraine. It's not really like that, but it's tangential to that. And if Trump were truly anti-war, we simply wouldn't be watching the video that I played for you of armed agents boarding foreign ships and keep hearing talk about keeping the oil from Donald Trump. We wouldn't see troop increases. We wouldn't see covert action. We wouldn't see aircraft carriers being moved into the region. Now, I think it's important to mention with regard to the Venezuelan leader, Nicolas Maduro, who I am completely against. Remember, I'm an anti-authoritarian. So I'm against Trump's authoritarianism and I'm against Maduro's authoritarianism and I was against Chavez's authoritarianism. Maduro understandably lost it after the seizure. Now, I think Maduro's terrible for the Venezuelan people, but I still have to consider and appreciate what is the law and what are the circumstances of this seizure. Maduro started saying, this is piracy. She said, Venezuelans need to be ready to kick in the teeth of the United States. He said this is theft by the United States. And he's not wrong, at least about the stakes of this, because the ship was carrying over 1 million barrels of oil. And this is the United States disrupting Venezuela's oil business directly. Not a defense of Maduro. I think he's terrible. I would love for him to go, but I don't want the United States being the ones doing the regime change, obviously. But this is shaping up to escalate, and it's not looking good. Thanks for watching. Check out this other video. And if you like our content, make sure to subscribe so YouTube puts our videos in your feed, and subscribe to the podcast on Spotify and Apple.